Yeah. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah, yeah.
I had to ask. Thanks. So thanks. I want to thank the folks for being here. Dr. Ensley, in your discussion with regards to human factors, one of the issues we're looking at is going forward, how we change, if we should change, and I think we should, but how we change the certification process and what changes ought to be made. How should we think about incorporating human factors analysis into the certification of airplanes?
The JATR report talks quite a bit about that, and we certainly concur with their recommendations to emphasize human factors more in the certification process. The real value of certification is getting a second set of eyes on what's going on. It's way too easy for even very knowledgeable, well-intentioned engineers to make incorrect assumptions or errors in their analysis. And the ability to have that independent set of eyes looking at what's going on and the processes that are being used and the outcomes of the results, I think is extraordinarily valuable. We need to make sure that those teams are equipped with well-qualified human factors engineers who understand a lot of the complexities of human behavior that are involved in these sorts of events, particularly with things like automation and alarm situations such as we saw here.
Yeah, in your opinion, and you may not have an opinion or knowledge, and maybe if someone else does have an answer to this, I would welcome that. Does the FAA currently have people in line to conduct human factors analysis of airplane designs and of system designs?
Yes, the FAA has some very well-qualified human factors professionals. Dr. Kathy Abbott's in charge of certification on the human factors side and very knowledgeable about this. I think the issue is one of having enough people and having those people involved in that process such that they're getting the information they need and are involved all along the way. That's really the most valuable way to incorporate human factors. You can't just put a stamp at the end. You've really got to be involved early on and continuously.
Yeah. Anyone else want to answer that question on human factors about type, numbers of people, skills, capabilities within the FAA? All right, great. Nothing? Okay. Mr. Pearson, in your written testimony, you allege that last year the 737 program's vice president and general manager agreed to conduct a thorough engineering and quality analysis to determine if the production environment has caused safety risks. To your knowledge, was that analysis conducted? Microphone, please.
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge. Did you yourself do any follow-up on that, or was that your role, or whose role would have been to follow up on that?
That would have been the general manager's responsibility with the appropriate leaders of the other organizations, like engineering and quality.
In that circumstance, was Mr. Campbell, within the ODA, and was your concern made into the ODA at Boeing for this question, or was this outside of that?
This was a discussion that I had with him one-on-one. It wasn't involving anybody else in the ODA.
Okay, all right. Is your argument, is the point that you're making in your testimony is that this is a problem with production pressure because of economic factors, or a problem with the way Boeing's organized to build and to certify airplanes?
Could you rephrase that again, Congressman?
Yeah, what's is your argument, or the point you're making with your testimony? It's a very good point. Is it because of economic pressures only, or is it a problem with how Boeing uses the ODA?
You know, I really don't have a comment about the ODA. As far as economic factors go, I'm obviously not an economist. My issues were really what I saw in the factory, the environment, you know, and the things that were happening at the time when those planes were being built. And then I wasn't there when the second plane was built. I had retired just prior to that, but yeah. That was my concerns. And
right, all right.
I will say, just on the topic, if I may,
sure.
There's been a lot of discussion about certification and the certification process, and a lot of discussion on the left side, if you will, of the process, which is the design and the flight training and things like that. The right is, on the far right, is what's called the production part, and Boeing has issued a production certificate that expects to have every plane built with the same level of repeatable quality, and so that's a really important part of the airplane process, airplane certification process that we shouldn't forget.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back.
Thank the gentleman. I'll recognize myself now.